Yo guys, what's going on? Robert Warshack here, and we are back at it again with another exciting raid video. This video, we're going to be taking a look at some nice budget builds to take on the Fire Knight with. This guy is going to be a little bit tricky as he has some abilities and just buffs on him that make him just a little bit harder than some of the ones that we have previously tackled with budget builds. Keep in mind, if you want the champions that I'm showing off in the videos and what all of my builds are based around, make sure you download raid using that QR code at the top to be able to get everything I show in this video. It's going to give you a nice juicy legendary at the start, which would be Tholen, great in the mid game, great in the early game, great at the end game. It's also going to give you 3 epic champions across the way as you level up. One at level 10, 20, and 30. You're going to get yourselves some nice epics. And then again, use the code Desert Queen, which is my recommendation. There's a lot to pick from. They should be on the screen. However, Desert Queen is going to round out your team really nicely, as you see in our videos and a lot of our budget builds. And if we don't have phones for the QR code, the links will be in the description along with the pinned comment. So stage 13 is where we're picking up at. This is the jump between 4 and 5 star gear to 4 and 6 star gear. So that's very, very nice for Fire Giant. This will be stage 13. Again, nothing too crazy, but if you're on a newer account or you're a budget free-to-play player, this is going to be a fantastic place for you guys to just starting the farm at. My account is just shy of 3 months old, and as you can see here, Fire Giant is not. We actually just got Cassandra, which will pump our Fire Giant way past 15, but it's just really not something I do unless there's an event for it and I have the extra energy for it. So it's not like Fire Giant's okay. It's not the best. Stage 13 with this budget build here, we have our Desert Queen in the first line for her leader ability. We have the Fox Hunter as second. My first round of codes on this account was Fox Hunter. However, Tholen is just kind of better, and so if you have Fox Hunter, obviously use him, but if you have Tholen with the new QR code I have and then the updated champions, go ahead and use Tholen over Fox Hunter, but if not, Fox Hunter is fine. We have Kyle always in our groups. Kyle is a steady man for our team compositions. And then again, we have Tagore and Ugo here in the back line being our supports. As for masteries and like gear, Kyle, Fox Hunter, and Desert Queen are masteried out. However, Tagore and Ugo have 0 masteries and quite terrible gear. So let's go into it and take a look at what Fire Knight, what does he do? All right, so going into the rounds here, we'll make it to the Fire Knight. We'll put it on off auto and take a look at his ability once we get back past these waves. Also, we need to go into the team lineup and take a look at the abilities, and I had a couple of them turned on and off based on the rounds, because obviously against the Fire Knight you don't need AoE abilities because he's just one guy. All right, so here we are off auto. Keep in mind, all of these budget guides that we're doing involve auto. No one's got time to click everything, so let's just make sure we have that under control. So looking at his ability, we have the Cloak of Fire, which is going to be what makes this boss so obnoxious. So he starts the battle with the Divine Shield. While active, the shield reduces damage he takes by 80% and prevents him from receiving any debuffs or being affected by other skill effects. The shield cannot be removed by skills that remove buff. Each hit he takes decreases the strength of the shield by 1, and the shield will be broken when it's hit enough times, and the shield regenerates each and every turn. So every single time he gets a turn with his turn meter, the shield goes up. It has 10. It needs to be hit 10 times before it comes down, and you can actually do some real damage to him. So having champions that can attack multiple times like Fox Hunter and Tholen, and even Xenomorph has the double attack, which ideally you want a champion that attacks like 4 times would be good. There's a lot that do it. So Fire Knight's just one of those that you'll, as your account progresses and you open up more stuff that can attack more, then that's going to be really where you get a lot of benefit from. With the creator code and what you get from my stuff isn't really aimed to beat Fire Knight, but at the same time, you get to do a lot of other things that are, in my opinion, more important than the Fire Knight. So another one is the Searing Storm, attacks all enemies, destroys enemy max HP by 15% of the damage dealt. So eventually, long fights against him will inevitably, you will lose because he's destroying your max HP, not by much. It's really not an insane ability, but it's something. And this attacks all enemies, places a 30% speed debuff for 3 turns. This isn't a big deal because our Desert Queen takes that off of our guys, no problem, or Ugo. And then we have the Cloak of Fire, which goes along with the shield. So the additional part to this, if he starts a turn with the shield active, he will attack all enemies one time, and the attack will destroy max HP. And then he heals at the start of every turn. The value of the heal and the damage dealt increases according to the strength of the shield at the time of the attack. So obviously getting his shield down so these effects don't go up. And then also the Almighty Immunity, where we know he's immune to stun, freeze, sleep, provoke, block active, block out of passive seals, fear, true fear, confiscation, berserk, and feeble, nullify, and snare, fatigue, and hunter's gaze. He's also immune to HP exchange effects, HP balancing effects, and cooldown increasing effects. So let's go back on auto and take a look at how this team will do. This is again not the perfect team for Fire Knight, but it's a free team that you can get again if you use the code there at the top, which I can offer you. So if you didn't have this team, you'd probably be in much worse shape, but again, not the perfect team for him, but still good enough to do Fire Knight on stage 13. Some worthy mentions of other champions that are not very expensive, but that are some nice rares that would round out this team even better. We have Cold Heart being a fantastic void rare. We've talked about her a lot in our videos, as she is just somebody who can take advantage of the Fire Giant's turn meter by reducing it once his shield is off, meaning once his shield goes down once, you can just make it so he doesn't have another turn again by utilizing that turn meter debuff that she lays out. Also, if you're interested in checking out 10 very, very good rares to watch out for, we actually did make a video going over those. And generally, rares, you would think of them not being account changers. Some of these really are. So make sure that you're not getting rid of your rares or looking them over. And I highly recommend checking out that video or doing a little research into rares if you haven't. Next, we have the Armiger. He is actually an uncommon unit with a fantastic A1 and a fantastic A2. This is just like a weird guy that you would not think much of, but he's actually, I don't want to say a game changer, but he can definitely help you out in the early to mid game in raid, especially if you're playing free to play or you've got yourself some budget friendly builds like we've been doing here the past couple weeks. And then some other notable ones would be the Renegade, which is a void rare. We have the Soulbound Buyer, and then we also have Apothecary. So those are some that work really well with a nice budget Fire Knight. All right, so we are just about halfway on this guy with a juicy turn count of 125. Like I said, this may not be the speediest composition we have to beat Fire Knight, but it will get it done. They will get it done eventually, which is fine because we're playing on auto, which means we're not really playing, you know, we're not focusing in. It's just you get to do other things, watch a show, have this run it in the side, and that's my favorite way to play raid. It's just to feel like I'm doing something when I'm not really doing something. I wonder how many players play raid like that. Like, you just do it to have something else you're doing when doing something else. I'm curious if you guys actually, like, do you play raid and click through the buttons, or is it mainly like 90% auto, or like even more than that, and you just like have it going during, you know what I mean, if you're playing like some other games or you're reading a book. I guess reading a book would be tough, but definitely watching shows or like at the elliptical at the gym. I'm rambling. We need to speed up Fire Knight. All right, so we were able to take out the Fire Knight. It did take 205 turns, which is obviously not ideal, but again, time's not really a big deal if you're getting down the content at a decent stage. Again, if you're on a new account, stage 13 giving you 6-star gear potentially is really, really nice. As my account progresses and we get farther along, obviously there'll be a little bit more sophisticated guides, but I'm making guides going over content that where my account is going on right now, which again, over time, we'll get to the hard mode of a lot of stuff and find budget builds that we can do there, but we don't have those champions yet, so we can't really make guides on champions that we don't really have yet. In due time, boys, in due time. So, oh yes, before we wrap up, I wanted to go to the dragon, and then we were going to take a look at some of the team setup stuff. So yes, so the team setup, guys, is really important. If you don't take advantage of this, I really advise you to do so, because this allows you to make characters on your team use abilities on certain rounds. So for example, Kyle using his acid rain in round 1 and 2 when there's waves coming at him and the AoE matters, very important. However, on round 3, we really don't need Acid Rain coming down on the boss because AoEing the boss doesn't really matter. We just want to use Dark Bolt and Disintegrate mainly, because Disintegrate actually counts as 4 hits or 3 hits on this. And then we also have the Fox Hunter, which on round 3, we don't want him to use his A2 or A3 because these are just single attack, attack all enemies, and this one's attack one enemy. However, we definitely want him to use his A1 every time because this attacks one enemy 3 times, which is what makes the Fire Knight so annoying, is you have to attack him a bunch of times in one turn to get that shield down. So obviously Fox Hunter using the 3 attacks every time, very good. And there are a ton of other champions that again attack multiple times in one attack that you could take advantage of in this team, but we wanted to build the team like this because these are all characters that you guys are going to get again for free. And then also keep in mind the stage at which you do it is going to be dependent on the gear on your champions. Tagore and both Ugo don't really have the greatest gear ever, and most of it's not upgraded completely or optimized for them, and also neither have mastery. However, my Desert Queen was one of the first champions I juiced on this account and definitely gave her as much as I can, along with our Kyle, which was again one of our first early game farmers that we really pumped a lot of resources into. And as you can see, Fox Hunter is not even fully ascended yet and has not unlocked his extra accessories, and also isn't really built that crazily. And of course, if you have any questions or you're not sure about a hero, feel free to leave that in the comment section below, and I'll make sure to get back to you and try to help you out as best as possible to make sure you can get as much out of Raid as you can with a budget free-to-play or a newer account, because that's the part of the game we're focused on now. And with that, let's wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Of course, I'm Robert, or Warshack. Jesus, I'm Rob, or Warshack, and happy whatever the hell day it is. Oh man, I can feel myself getting sick if you can't even do the outro right.